Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back. So happy to have you here. We're still in the realm of Sahasrara. There's so much to investigate here. There's so much to experience. It's so vast, so wide, so deep. We've looked at things that can help us to offer us greater opportunity and possibility in this area as we look at places of attachment. And which is said to be the one thing that really pulls us back. So today I'd like to move forward and look at something that can allow us to transverse even further. Transcendence and immanence. And what is the meaning of those? And where do they fit? And how are they puzzled into that piece? My name's Deborah O'Neill. I'm the CEO and founder of blissbee.me, Integrative Holistic Health. I'm here to share because I care. So thank you for caring to be here, because I know it's your choice to be anywhere else. Let's go right into it. So what is transcendence? What is immanence? Transcendence is said to be, and I'm referring to my pal Anna Death Judith. She just doesn't know she's my pal yet. So transcendence is divinity that is wholly separate from our universe. Transcendence is divinity that is wholly separate from our universe. So let's look at immanence, and then we'll break it apart. We'll unconnect the dots, and then we'll bring the dots back together to see how it works for you, for what definition works for you to try on. I'm getting some messages. Bring them on camera. Wow. That would be cool, wouldn't it? That's another avenue to look at moving forward. I'd love to bring some of the people that are watching on camera, and that would be a lot of fun. So immanence, divine being present. So that's the divine within you being present in the world as we inhabit it. So one is separate from our universe, and the other one is present within our universe. A lot of talk about transcendence, not a lot of talk about immanence. So I love the fact that we're bringing these two together. We're marrying these two because apparently you can't have one without the other. So I think that obviously if this is an area that we want to work on, this is an area that we want to delve into, we need the full recipe. We need to have the full recipe. That's the beauty of this. And this is the beauty of me that I have this opportunity to share it with you, because when I get into these realms, I am reading pockets of information. I am taking even my knowledge even further. So with the deepest gratitude, we're always on this journey together, always the student. I will never be more than anyone else, ever. I often say I'm not teaching anything that hasn't been taught in the last few thousand years. I had a friend yesterday. We had a big, long discussion about, preparing material. She stepped out as well to challenge herself to step outside of her comfort zone, working with her edges over in Winnipeg, and where I grew up. So I grew up with her in my young professional years. So, and we talked about, she says, well, what do you do when you're using someone else's material? I says, I show the book. I tell where I'm referencing from. And they are like a dear friend, because this book has been with me for years and years and years. And it's not that it's not written in another book somewhere. It's not that it's not written somewhere else. It's just what I'm choosing to reference at this time. Okay, so the crown chakra is a two-way gate to beyond. So this is where we're looking at. We're looking at the divinity in the present and the transcendence of us moving forward into that other dimensions, and allowing that pranic breath that we engage to be our pranic highway. It's our highway that takes us into these states of beingness, if you will. Okay, so it opens inward and downward to the world of visions, creations, and eventual manifestations. Eastern philosophies stress transcendence as the goal, and the essence of the crown chakra, and indeed of the entire chakra system itself. Transcendence is the cleansing bath in the waters of spirit, a blissful relief from that which binds us to limitations. It's that place where we can go and drift, where we go and get some insight, where each new plane encompasses the chakra below in a larger framework. We're always taking all of this energy system with us. Because like I said, we can't go here unless we're grounded here. It's like immanence is like the grounding, the divine presence of the transcendence, if we related it that way. Immanence is the light of divine consciousness shining out from within. It manifests the presence of the divine within, the divinity of the self, capital S, in its wholeness. From the perspective of immanence, deity exists in everything living and non-living. Now, deity is just another reference, not just, is a reference of God or goddesses, God, creator, source, energy, higher self. So when you hear that word, don't allow it to pull you out of the game. Call it what you will, the place of many names. It is that divine spark within each of us. And then the creation is the expression, our creation is the expression of divine. Everything that we do, because we get that thought when we are in this place. We get that intuitive thought. We get that idea. We get that action. We get that call. We get that call that is far greater than any fear. And look what has the possibility to appear. One of the differences between soul and spirit, so we've got transcendence and immanence, so we've got that inner within divinity, we've got that separate from our universe dimensional transcendence, that place that we can go. So we've got spirit and we have soul. And I'm going to use the definition of Anna Day of Judith as where we're going to work from this place. I'm sure that there's a bunch of other definitions, or maybe not, but I'm not willing to put my energy there when I have a trusted source that I feel that I'm working with. So this trusted source is what we're working with in this time frame, this moment in time. Another reference that I will make is Barbara Brennan, her first book out called Hands of Light. And we're working at the level of first books. You know what I mean? We're working with that primary information, that foundational information, so that we have the ability to move forward. That's the beauty of the monthly membership. It's that I'll be able to see who's doing what work, and I'll be able to see, engage, and we'll be able to feel it, actually. We'll be able to feel who's doing that work. We'll be able to feel the palpable essence of the group as we move forward. Things will be more clear. There'll be less questions. There'll be quicker learning as we step into different breath forms, different mudras and why mudras, and bringing in different meditations. And anyways, back to spirit and soul. One of the differences between soul and spirit is that the soul is an expression of immanence. So if immanence is inside, the divine being present within us, in the world as we inhabit it. So the soul is an expression of immanence within the individual, whereas the spirit seeks transcendence and the universality of it all, the dimensions of it all. The soul is the gatherer of spirit, forming the abstract into a composite being. The spirit, in fact, may or may not be individual at all. as it can take on many forms. Or sometimes I can be home or out, and I can feel the spirit of my mom. If you've had anybody pass on, even my dog, sometimes I can get into my vehicle before I sold my truck, and I had it years and years past of having my German Shepherd. I would get in the truck and I could smell her. I probably literally could. Some old ocean smell. Nothing like dog salt water. But it was like her spirit was with me. Spirit may or may not be individual at all, as it can take on many forms. Like consciousness, spirit seems to be a field that we can tap into and carry within ourselves. The soul is enhanced by the presence of spirit, as if spirit is the essence from which it forms. I'm going to read that again. The soul is enhanced by the presence of spirit. Our soul is enhanced by the presence of spirit, as if spirit is the essence from which it forms. And often I think of essence as the flavor of you, that essence. So spirit is that. It kind of holds that flavor, that essence. Spirit is anchored and expressed through the soul, which gives it embodiment, meaning, and purpose. Soul tends towards manifestation, and spirit towards liberation. There we go. Soul tends to manifestation. That part of us that, it's not a longing, but it's that soul calling. That soul calling that allows us to manifest. And with that, spirit offers the liberation from that. Or as a part of that, not separate, but together. It allows us to get there. As we are grounded in that soul, that immanence. It's the spirit that allows us to soar. I had a saying a couple of years ago, and I loved sayings that would capture my year ahead. To fly in fearless flight to my new height was one of my beacons one year. Mine this year is divine living, and all the aspects of that broken down. Soul tends towards manifestation and spirit toward liberation. That would be a great place to write, learn, ask, and receive. To achieve transcendence is to enter the realm capable of embracing the whole. To bring that divine state of awakened consciousness down into our bodies and act upon it is to experience immanence. When we're bringing it down that superhighway, or if we're in meditation, we bring it into the place of insight, and it allows to wash all the other chakra areas. It becomes part of the whole beingness of us. Divine being present in us is immanence. Divine being present in us, in the world as we inhabit it. It becomes part of the wholeness. It's like the vehicle that brings gods back down to earth. Immanence is the restoration of the sacred self. The sacred self. As I believe, we are all one with all gods. It says, what kind of consciousness would you hold about your smallest actions? If you knew their effects influence the entire rest of creation. If your awakening could bring joy to the multitudes, what kind of mindfulness would that inspire? And mindfulness is simply being present in the moment. You're being mindful, but the mind's empty, but mindful. Your present moment in your mind. And in the present moment, that's the best place to be operating. So often, our divinity, the beauty of us, our spirit and our soul, our ability to hold immanence and to transcend is forgotten. This is why this should be viral. This is the important work. It's contracted. It's contracted by attachment. It's contracted by fear. And that contraction, it could be buried in shame because it's seen as religious, or people don't want to go there, or people don't want to talk about it, or it's controversial. And with all that, with all those stigmas in society, then it creates doubt. Doubt is my worst dragon. I don't call it demons, I call it a dragon. Doubt is my worst dragon. I doubted that I could do this. I doubted coming online. I doubted what people would say, what they would project. I doubted me. I doubted my intelligence. I doubted my ability to be able to put my two words together in a way that made sense. I doubted anybody would listen. I was wrong. I'm glad. And even if I wasn't wrong, it would be a not yet. I just did some work yesterday. I did some research with regards to Carol Dweck on her two minds, and then we'll talk more about that information. With regards to the growth mind and the research that she's done. I'll post a TED Talk on my Facebook, blissb.me. Have a look at it. Her results are astounding. Not yet. Not no, it didn't work. Not yet. Big difference for our ability to keep that growth mind. And often, our inability to move into this realm is ego. It's confined by the boundaries of personal ego. We make up stories. And those stories keep us small, often. One of the Stuart Brand of a book called Millennium Whole Earth Catalog, or Millennium Whole Earth. We are as gods, and might as well become good at it. I believe that. Wow. What you conceive, what you believe, you can conceive. The concept of being an actual god or goddess, just God, opens us up to greater divine force and to a position of greater responsibility. That sense of responsibility requires enormous commitment to consciousness. It requires us to pay attention at all times. How much do we pay attention to the smallest details as we're in the presence of another, our partner, beloved? How much do we pay attention to what we put in our bodies when sick? What do we say when defending something that really matters? These moments receive our undivided attention because they're special. To embrace this deity, this God within, and realize that it's always present is to realize that all moments deserve the same kind of attention. We talk about the rainbow bridge. So it's a mythical significance. It's an imagery of us walking into that unknown realm. And to walk across that bridge, embracing each step as we go, is to reclaim our connection to the divine source. The ultimate realization is not merely to connect, but to become. I think this is grace. I think that's where grace comes in. That grace piece, grace, compassion, healing. I think that's where it comes in. Well, so much great stuff. So much great stuff. Let's do our grounding and centering and aligning here and now so we can move on with our day. Take those words of wisdom with us. That immanence and that transcendence. That soul and that spirit. Immanence, the divine within. Transcendence is the out. The soul is the immanence, works with the immanence, becomes the immanence, is a part of the immanence as the spirit prepares to fly in fearless flight to your new height. Feet on the floor, engaging all sensory organs. I have truth bumps. Allow the tree roots to come out. What tree will you be today? Allow those to go down right into the central core of the earth as you imagine that just flowing right down. There's 3 things that I have stood for ever since I don't even remember how far back. One was enjoyment, which has evolved to bliss. The second was love, to give and receive love. And the third was Mother Earth. I had a gentleman in one of the programs that I was participating in, and he said to me, "That spells elm. You are an elm tree." And I'm like, wow. I said, "Tell me more about the elm tree." He says, "It's the strongest living tree that we have on the earth." And I'm like, oh, thank you for that grace. For that grace. He was that person. He was that form that was enlightening me into what he's seen in me. What a gift. Be that grace to somebody else as well today. When you say to them, "You are strong, you are here, and you are loved," that fortifies that tree in them. It allows it to grow or bloom. Let's bring those tree roots up, bring that Mother Earth energy up that freeway of the tree roots of the etheric feet and into the 4 points of your foot. Spread your toes, your yoga toes, let them grasp on the floor. That gives you that ability to be the tree. Before we become a tree in yoga, we see it first. We plant the foot that's going to stand. We connect those 4 points. We spread those toes. We pull the earth energy up into our feet before we even move. And then we transcend into that tree pose, drawing our other foot up so slowly and maintaining that stability and that balance. We're pulling up the Mother Earth energy equally into both feet to give us that stability, that balance. We don't want to fall down. We don't want to get hurt. The world needs you, needs me, needs us all. Let's be grounded as we pull it up into our hips, washing it through our hips, calling in that same balance in the hips, calling the blueprint back into the body, perfect alignment, up into the lower abdomen, engaging that deep diaphragmatic breath, allowing the side ribs and the back to expand. That's where the musculature is. To have a strong abdomen is to have a strong back, and to have a strong back is to have a strong abdomen. If you don't have balance and strength in both sides, guess what? We get a sore back. Or our stomach wall is weak. Bring it up into the lungs. Let's feel that expansion. Now expand it even lower but higher, and bring it up into our shoulders and our arms and our hands as we bring it into our chest with grace and gratitude and thank you, thank you, thank you. Bring it up in to our throat so we can speak those thank yous. And on our head, tapping the portal of Sahasrara so it comes out the top and washes down the body if that's what you feel that you need today. If not, you can go right into the centering and go right up into the aligning. I love the sensory of knowing that I'm cleaning sort of that first level of the biofield or washing down the body. It's our major, largest organ. And come into that centering, that still point. As we prepare to align, taking that hara line that we've started from the central core of the earth in through the spine, up through the head, fine line, straight to divine, no deviation, straight. God, creator, source, energy, higher self, super consciousness, universal forces, guides, archangels, spirits, gurus, sages, seers, disciples, you name it. Place of many names, bring that down. Gold and white light energy, permission to receive, permission to heal as we bring it into every cell and every space in between each cell. Allow me to glow and emit the light of divine grace today so that others can see it and be it and know that if they see it in me, they own it. You spot it, you got it. Let's be that light. Let's be that person, that human that walks and shares and cares. We'll bring that gold and white light in. How? What is one way that you can do that for yourself today? How can you show up in that light? Allow this habit. It's about creating habits. What's one thing that I'm going to start to do today and perhaps even every day? Make it a resolve to do it every day moving forward. Try it for 30 days. But pen to paper, digits to phone, track it. How the difference it is in your life. Give yourself the evidence so that you can talk from your own place of self-evidence. Let's go into a 2-minute mantra meditation. I so love that you're here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bringing in the Soham. First engaging the breath. Bringing in that breath to the nostrils, the coolness on your nostrils. Feel that. Become aware of it as you breathe in. Be aware of the warmth of the nostrils on your exhalation as you breathe out. And allow yourself to follow the path of the breath as it comes in to your lower abdomen. Your abdomen expands, it bellows or bellies out on the inhalation, and allow it to naturally contract as back in on the exhalation. See if you can make your inhalation a little bit longer and your exhalation a little bit longer. Without creating a stress on the body, without creating anything forced. Just imagine it. We're not doing meditation. We are being meditation. Nice, smooth, no pause, no jerks, no noise. And bringing in that Soham. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you found value. Please share. Well, first like and share. It's important for the algorithms of the new world of internet. It's just the first one on the deck, or the bottom, I guess, the bottom one on the deck. Light. Open your heart, and the light will enter and dwell within. Open your heart, and the light will enter and dwell within. The divine is the sure friend who never fails, the power, the support, the guide, which scatters darkness, the conqueror who assures the victory. That is you. The divine is the sure friend who never fails, the power, the support, the guide. The divine is the light which scatters darkness, the conqueror who assures the victory. It reminds me of the poem that one of my clients wrote that I recited yesterday. It scatters the darkness and conqueror who assures the victory. You assure your victory because you are divine, you are the light. One of my yogic philosophy sessions was encouraging us to make a vow, a wedding vow to yourself. That might be a good place to start today. I vow to love you in sickness and health, poor in wealth. I vow to never abandon you. I vow to be the light, that sure friend, who will never fail you. The power, the support, and the guide. Have a great day. I love you. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Make it a great day.